that presentation. Very eye-opening and inspiring. Yes, I've been very privileged to spend a lot of my adult life in the Bonnechere River watershed and along the Bonnechere River. I'm sure most of you know that I grew up in Eganville, Ontario. I learned to swim in the Bonnechere and behind the Eganville Arena. Our two boys learned to swim in the Bonnechere River behind the Eganville Arena also. I have fond memories of driving through the fields behind my cousin Cyril Sadler's farm down to the Bonnechere River with our canoe in the back of the truck to a place that my adult sons still refer to as the magic fishing spot. And it's because of the excitement, the feeling I have about being in the Bonnechere River watershed that I am going to introduce tonight I guess I'd call it my oldest lifelong friend. And I don't mean old as in really old, because she's sort of post-glacial, not sort of post-glacial, she is post-glacial. And those of you that know geology, and I think that's everybody in the room, you know that she's relatively young as far as geological time goes. Over 145 kilometers, this lady has carved her way through the Canadian Shield. She's carved her way through Ordovician limestone. She has carved her way through glacial till. She's carved her way through the sediments of the Champlain Sea, and she's carved her way into not just the hearts of the people who live in the Ottawa Valley and the Bonnechere River watershed, but she's carved her way into the hearts of the people who come here to visit us. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I present to you Miss Bonnechere River. Big hand. Welcome, Miss River. It's
Thank
a pleasure
you
to have
so
you.
much, Chris. Thank you.
You're here. You're here with me. I can't tell you how many hours I spent swimming in your waters and paddling in your rapids and standing on your shores fishing. And when your waters are frozen, I've spent endless hours skating on that ice.
I know.
And now you're here talking to me. And I have a few questions. I have several questions.
Of course, that's what I'm here for.
I've watched the sun go down and reflect off your waters, and I've often talked to you. And I guess in a way you have answered back, but not in English like you're going to tonight. And thank you for being here.
Not a problem.
Now, I must say, you're even more beautiful than I imagined.
You know, it's very hard being this beautiful.
Well, and I'm sure it is, because you put a lot of work into it, or have put a lot of work.
Thank you, Chris, for not mentioning I'm related to Joan Rivers.
Oh, I just assumed everybody knew you were, and you're not.
You know, I don't want to admit it, but I did have a couple of facelifts myself.
Well, I know you're looking good, and there was a time when you didn't feel as good or look as good. Can you tell us a little bit about when you didn't look or feel so good?
I was such a damper on things. Get it?
Damper.
No, but seriously, you know, my tributaries have been showing signs of poor water quality, and I don't want to blame anybody, but they do pour into me, and I pour into rivers and lakes, and it's awful. I do hope something will be done about it. It's terrible, really.
Well, you have been responsible for the development of our area culturally, economically, and I could go on and on. What is it that we can do to help you?
Well, first of all, I think the forests wouldn't like you giving me all the credit for the development of the area.
Well, you can speak on their behalf.
Yes, because I do give them water, after all, right? No, but, sorry, what was your question? Oh, the development.
The cultural and economic development, and what can we do to repay you?
Right. Well, just keep me clean and pristine. You know, respect the flow. You know, hesitate when you're going to contaminate.
Hesitate when you're going to contaminate. I like that.
You know, I need the people, and the people need me. It's a cycle. We're always working. We're always hard at work. You know, and I'm swamped.
You're very witty, Miss River.
I've been around for a while.
Now, speaking of the people, what is it about the people in the Bonnechere River watershed that that you like? What is it about the character of these people?
Well, they've just been here for generations upon generations, and the soils are so rich with family history. It's just lovely.
And do you have a story or memories, favorite memories of your life as the Bonnechere River?
Gosh, there's so many. I've seen so many weddings and births and deaths and portages, storms, tornadoes, rainbows, all. But to be completely honest with you, Chris, I must say the earlier days when the First Nation people and their birch bark canoes and the wildlife were my only travelers and witnesses to my beauty. We just all lived in ecological harmony. It was just, I miss it a lot.
Well, thank you for giving of yourself so
Out of
much.
blood.
Now, I know you have a show to get to, so that's okay. Take a moment. Take a moment. You do have a show to get to, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I want you to indulge me. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. I've loved you. Part of my development as a person and development of people, I feel, is our first love was our love of nature. And it's that love that we carry forward that allows us to love and be loved by fellow human beings. And I wrote a poem about you, not just about you, but about a lady in my life that I've loved for 32 years, and I compare my love to her to the Bonnechere River. And if you would indulge me, I'd like you to perform this poem with me tonight. Would you do that?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I call this river my river and my love.
My water is always flowing, sometimes smooth and slow, sometimes turbulently, that's true. Always an adventure.
I paddle on your surface at first, your depths a mystery. Your rocky waters a test of my skills. Your teachings endless. My comfort and confidence with you grows to create a different me.
My water is always flowing, sometimes smooth and slow, sometimes turbulently, always an adventure.
Your curving, twisting ways keep me grounded, focused on what is real. The safety of your shoreline, a welcome rest as I paddle through life.
My water is always flowing, sometimes smooth and slow, sometimes turbulently, always an adventure.
Your deep and inviting waters, your quiet beauty, like a womb brings forth life. A life that can breathe and play and worship. A celebration of life's abundance for all to enjoy.
My water is always flowing, sometimes smooth and slow, sometimes turbulently, always an adventure.
I lay exposed and vulnerable in your depths, but I do not fear as I float with you as one. Your coolness refreshes me, your warmth embraces me, gently touching my skin, gently holding my heart that is yours forever. As my river flows endlessly, so does my love. Sometimes smooth and slow, sometimes turbulently, always an adventure.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Bonnechere River. Thank you.